Welcome back to another video. So in the previous video we discussed about the Guico piano variation of the Italian game, and in this video I want to continue in the footsteps of the Italian game, and I want to show you guys another variation, right? So this variation is called the Two Knights Defense, and I will just put out the sequence of moves followed to reach this variation. Just give me a second. And it's very similar to the Guico piano, except here Black plays Knight of 6, right? So the first instinctual move that you could think of when after this move is perhaps playing something like maybe D3 or Knight C3, right? And that is obviously possible, and that's a really good way to play, and that's actually perhaps what you should be doing, in fact, because after this, again, it's going to be a purely development game, right? Black's going to bring out the bishop, you're going to castle, Black's going to castle. It's going to be a typical, maybe a bit different from the Guico piano, but it's going to be very similar, where both sides are actively developing and just trying to open up the position, right? So that could be one way you could go about it, right? Another way that you could go about it is by playing something like Knight G5. And Knight G5 is a very interesting move, to be honest, right? Because as you can see over here, the bishop and the knight attack the f7 pawn of Black, which is really weak, right? So Black has things to play over here, obviously. Firstly, Black can choose to play d5, right? And then after maybe White takes with the pawn, Black could play things like maybe Knight a5, or there were other variations Black can play, right? So this is one way the game could go about, but I would highly recommend you not play Knight G5 just yet, because there is one thing Black can do, and it's Bishop C5. Now in hindsight, this might seem pretty stupid, right? Because Black has just sacrificed this pawn, and after this, you're probably gonna win a queen or a rook, probably, because Black's not gonna sacrifice his queen, right? But that is not the point. Black has the move bishop takes f2, right? And this leads to the fried liver. The fried liver is very complicated. There are so many moves that can be possible in the fried liver defense, and I would highly recommend you do not go into this variation. This variation is extremely complicated, and there are so many variations that can happen. So I would suggest you don't go into this variation, and you stick with a good move such as Knight b3, right? I will discuss the fried liver in future videos, but for now, I would recommend, if you're a beginner, just go ahead and play something like d3 or Knight c3. Alright, that's all I have for today's video, guys. See you guys in the next one.